we're back. Featured game 3 of the Tourney, and here we have some of my favorite players of Rise of Catan. We have in the black Icelanderman, who has been with us since maybe the beginning, honestly. ROC 1 maybe. Same with Joey Donuts here in the blue. Both very strong players in their own right. Performed very well in past tourneys and have stuck with us through the entire thing, and really good to see them back and playing in this one. And yeah, we should be in for a good one here. And of course, in the red third placement, we have Joni. And if you remember, Joni played in our finals for the sheep tourney and did not win, and has not yet gotten back to a finals this year. But making the finals once is going to show you exactly how good you are. It's hard to make it there. And yeah, so all that to say, all three players here are very experienced, very strong. We should be in for a good one. Let's hop in. So here in the first placement, if I'm black, right, I think I go for a spot that, here's a low brick board. I would go for 5, 8, 10. So with that 10 brick, and I think I point right, go for the wheat port, 3 for 1 port. Can't beat that. And then on the way back, you hope for a wood sheep spot, which there are a couple of those where you could see that happening. But even if that's not the case, you'll be able to forego one of the resources, and I think you'll still be okay. And goes ahead and does that, does black. And again, probably strong play. Second placement here, blue. This is tough, right? I think there are a lot of good options here. If I'm them, I'd probably go for 5, 10, 9 at the top left. There's enough ore that I think I can get on the way back. And pointing down here, trying to get access to some brick with that 3 spot. So makes sense here. So back-to-back placements here for red. Going for the strong ore, low wheat. Curious to see what they go for next here. And this thing is buffering, so we're gonna see if this can come back to us. And yeah, we're back, and we see here going for the free road does red, and I agree with this play. I think free road is strong. You have access to all the resources. You're probably going to go to the left for that ore port, and you have strong ore to base that off of. Now for the sheep, you're going to have so much sheep production by the end that you're probably going to want a 3 for 1 port, because you can't get that sheep port at the bottom. So probably here that's the game plan for red, and I totally see that. I totally see that as a valid strategy. The issue here is low wheat, and I'm not sure that that'll be great for them long term. The ore isn't really compatible without high wheat, so probably you want to get to that ore spot, and then ore port, and then the 3 for 1 port, and then maybe it'll be in good shape. So here on the way back, blue has some options. I think free roads are always great. You have some options there, but you probably want some ore too, right? Unless you think you can get there at some point. So actually, I would probably go 6, 11, 12 just for the free road, and then point even right, because I don't think anyone's going to place on the 10-9 in a 3-player game, especially black wouldn't after placing there. But instead going for the 3 for 1 port directly and taking on the brick and ore. And this is actually probably a better play than what I suggested. And here, able to get the 3 for 1 port, which they wouldn't have gone to port very easily if they had gone the other route. And now, in addition to getting some brick, you can actually settle on a 3, 11, 9 and have very compatible wood brick production. So a lot of roads in store for blue here. And on top of that, coordinated ore wheat spots. So any 9 gets you an ore and a wheat. If you get 3 of those, you get a city, right? So Not a bad setup at all. Would not have expected that from blue, but I think that was definitely the correct play. But that does leave the door open for black here. Now black needs wheat, or black needs sheep and wood. They're going to have to probably forego one of these resources. And I would say just go for high production here with access to a 3-for-1 port. So 4, 6, 11 at the bottom left seems pretty good to me. But they forego that option and instead go for even more ore and wheat, which I can get behind too. Getting some wood, and you're hoping for a 10 here so you can build a road and cut off blue completely. And this is going to be hampering for blue, actually. So probably a very smart play from black here. So see, clearly I'm commentating, but I don't know what the heck I'm talking about sometimes, and that's just how it goes. So black here, strong placements. I think everyone here had very, very strong placements and smart placements. That is probably correct all around. Now red here is probably in the best spot just because most space, but you know, again, lack of brick and lack of wheat production is going to really hurt them in the long term. Now 10 brick being hit, that's going to be a common spot that gets hit, I think. And red here building a road immediately, which we did see coming. And oh, and a 3 hits, and that's huge for red here. We're gonna have to keep an eye on those 3s. And immediately settling, a huge first settlement, early strike by red, and this is gonna be a good one now. Now, if I'm red, I feel really good. I think my next spot is gonna be for red 3-for-1 port. You can't get wheat very easily unless you. I mean, you can. You would have to settle on a 3-8, but I would do the 3-for-1 port first and then go for the 3-8 because I don't see black going for the 3-8 at any time. So I think that's the plan, and you'll have an amazing or wheat sheep game set up for you with 2 ports. That's a fantastic combination to get a dub here. And blue to play, 7 cards in hand. Probably thinking about what options they even have, because they're in the trickiest position for sure. This is the toughest position to play from, and that's just because of black's second placement here, because that kind of ruins the entire plan that blue would have had to settle on that 3 brick there. They're committing by placing 1 road. Now, if black has any road in stock, they're going to immediately cut off blue, and that'll be a wasted road for blue. So 2 wasted roads for blue, and that'll be really detrimental, especially in a low brick game and with the 10 brick blocked, right? So we'll have to see if that becomes an actual factor, and if black can beat blue in this race. And Joey Donut stealing from Slenderman. So, oh, and immediately citying, and that was a great steal, I suppose. Got just the right resource, probably strategic steal in some senses, and able to get the first city. So now black seems to be the one who's lagging behind without any brick production. So this is very interesting now, where it's a very tight race to that 3-11-6 spot. Red's chilling. Red doesn't compete with anyone here, and that's why I think they're in the best spot, right? Now, hitting the 11 wood is a very unique move, but it's very targeted, right? So blue clearly stating, black, you're my enemy right now. I'm only going for you. I'm blocking all your wood production so that you aren't able to road. But, you know, resources are resources at the end of the day. If you have 8 resources and 4 of them are of one kind, you can trade for anything. And in blue's case, it's kind of an even better spot. If you have 3 of any kind, you can trade. So we're going to see. We're going to see who wins out here. But black looking in a precarious spot if they can't win that race, actually. They're going to have a tough time trying to expand because they don't have sheep. So they're going to need to get a port, or they're going to need to get some sheep access at some point. Now sitting here, so this is a huge city game clearly because there's so much wheat and ore production. And we see that coming to play. Everyone has a city now, so this should, oh, and we finally see the winner come out, and that is blue with the 3-for-1 port, building one road to officially win the race against black, and able to secure that 3-11-6 spot. And that'll be big with their 3-for-1 port. And here we have blue trading with red to city, and we're gonna hope that red can actually capitalize back with a city of their own, or something of their own, development of their own, and they do. So it seems like a win-win trade on both sides. 2 cities for both of them, and 2 cities for all 3 players in the very, very early game. I don't know if I've seen a game quite like this before, where everyone just has cities. So this will be an interesting game, right? I think people have so much production here that these ports are actually going to start mattering a lot more than I think I realized at first, because this production is really good, but you need to make sure it's compatible production. And we know that there are players like red who have very scarce brick wheat, and we know there are players like black who don't have sheep production at all, and very scarce wood and brick, right? So I think blue here, if they can actually settle on the spots, they're going to be probably in the best shape going forward here. And we're going to see if that actually pans out for them. And the 3-for-1 trade again. So that 3-for-1 port coming in so clutch, and I think that's fair. Like, I think it's very underrated, this 3-for-1 ports strat as a second placement here. You know, you only get 2 free resources to start versus 3 at any normal other spot, but you get a free port to start, and that's going to be super helpful, especially in a high production game like this. 3-for-1 port is the best port you could ask for. And that said, right, I think red is still in the lead, and I'm very surprised by this. Able to settle on this wood port, getting some extra sheep and extra wheat production. I really want to see if they can go to that 3-for-1 port though at some point. And yeah, black here with 9 cards, plenty of options. Probably looking to settle here if possible, but probably doesn't have the resources to do so, just because they don't have access to sheep or brick right now, and only an 11 wood. So really just a tricky situation for black here, looking to settle on that wheat port and maybe make some magic from there. And an unfortunate discard after passing completely, right? And that's what happens when you have those incompatible resources with no ports. So both of these guys with high card numbers do discard. We see a lot of ore and a lot of sheep going. And we're going to see if blue can do something, but probably won't be able to necessarily anytime soon. And going ahead and placing on red spot and sitting again. And these cities are crazy right now. These 9s are ridiculous. So 1 9 here gets you 1 resource away from a city, and you have the 3-for-1 port. So it's just like instant cities with 9s for blue here. And if I'm the other players, I want to hit those 9s. I want to hit the 9 wheat for sure. I want to hit the 9 ore even. I just want to stop this production that blue has. You know, that said, right, it's still an even game all around. It's 6-6-4. I think black is starting to fall out of it, but, you know, I think anything is still possible. It's still very early. It's to 12 VPs. 2 of these guys are halfway there with 1 dev card each. And if black isn't able to make some moves very soon, it might be a 2-horse race. And we do see that 9 ore actually getting hit right as we were talking about it. And black here settling on that wheat port finally. It's going to be huge for them. The 3s are absolutely massive for red here. And red's going to make some magic happen with that 2 brick in hand. And longest road locked up. And I think blue is looking really good here. Just high row production compared to the rest. Able to have the high production in general. Able to lock down the spots as needed. And yeah, this is going to be huge for them if they can or when they settle on the 4-6-11, right? Just extra production, and that's super good for them, and we love to see that happen. Now red here with 11 cards, one dev card in hand, and we see a race brewing for largest army. So we're gonna see if that's, and the unfortunate 7. So probably not a knight here that they had in hand, which makes blue the definite leader of largest army. But discarding a bunch of dev card resources. So I'm curious to see what they're trying to go for here. Probably wanting to keep that brick, right? Because it's very valuable to them. They don't make much of it. They want to make sure they keep it around. And placing 2 roads, and that's a huge dev card, especially for them. And for this game, right? Road builder is extremely crucial in a low brick game. So yeah, able to, okay, so interestingly, settling on the 4 ores. So what that implies is they're going to have to build another road to settle on that 3-for-1 port, and I assume they will. But you know, it's the 2 sheep, right? So it's a little bit tricky, but I do think I still agree with it. I could totally see it as valid, and blue here settling as well, and blue here is just running away with it right now. 9 VPs, 2 knights played, the most of anyone, and longest road lockdown, 4 now. And I don't think anyone's really threatening. It's going to be, every road matters, and red has already gone with opting out of this race, and I think black is going to really be seeking to do too much. And we're going to see. These early city games are kind of crazy. If everyone gets early cities, then it's going to, I don't know what the lesson is, right? If everyone has access to early cities, and everyone is able to city instantly, maybe what matters more is the ports that you have. And maybe that's the lesson there, right? If you have high production, if it's a great board, the ports will matter way more. If it's a low production board, you need to go for the scarce resources. Maybe that's the lesson learned, and blue was able to do that with their second placement here, and that was a great second placement. Black here buying a dev card, hoping to make some magic happen, and blue here with a 7, so able to take it off their spots. Probably going to go for red here, as red is probably their main competitor, and would probably hit the 8 sheep if I were them. We're gonna see what they do. Okay, so instead going for the ore spot, which actually is better because red has access to that ore port. 3 sheep, what are you going to do with it? But 2 ore, you could do something with it. And it also hits both players, right? So that's always good. Red here, rolling 7, placing back on the 8, or the 10 brick. So 10 brick being hit super heavily this game, hampering the already low brick production, and black here immediately placing their knight, playing their knight, and 2-1-1 is the current score for largest army. If someone can get that 3rd, it'll be interesting. Now, if I'm blue here, I want to see if I can buy dev cards, and then hopefully get a knight and play the knight and settle, and I'm looking good, right? If I'm blue. I think they have the clearest path here. I think everyone else is a bit far away, and the issue with this is I don't think anyone can really hamper blue strategies right now. If they moved off the 9 ore, they could still city. If they move it onto the 10 brick, or if they move it off the 10 brick, then they can road, settle. They can do all sorts of stuff, and not to mention they have a 3-for-1 port. They can use that wood at any point to 3-for-1 for any resource, and I'm sure they will, and they're probably looking to city here on the 4-6-11 at the bottom left, and stealing from Joni here, which makes sense, top competitor, and moving it back to the 10 brick does Joni, and that 10 brick is just having a bad time this game. Two wood, so this wood port coming in handy actually, and buying a dev card with that, so, and building 1 road. Dev card could be crucial if it is indeed a knight. And Joey Donuts here is probably going to buy a dev card, and they do. So he's hoping for a knight, so that if red has a knight, he can still take largest army. But we're going to see if red even has a knight. If they don't, then it's going to be a different story. And I don't know if they do. I guess we won't know this turn because they're not really forced to play the knight necessarily, but they are going to buy another dev card, and that makes sense. So I don't think after buying the dev card, you would probably play the knight because if you had another knight behind, so they probably only have one knight total here. And we'll see. Does blue here have a knight? If they do, I would place it. But they rolled before they made that decision, so they probably don't have a knight, which is unfortunate. So they're gonna see if they can go for another dev card at some point. Oh, a huge mono. Absolutely disgusting mono. And 8 or taken, easy city to come, and yeah, there it is. And yeah, I mean, 10 VPs, one knight away from largest army. It's looking great. It's looking great for blue. And if I'm blue here, I would actually, I don't know what they're exactly doing with the extra road. It's not necessary for this game other than defending longest road. But they should probably settle on the 9-12 and then also, you know, go for largest army. The reason I say that is because they would have a victory with 13 instead of 12, and that's extra impressive. And to reward that for this tourney, we actually made a new rule change where if you win with 13 VPs, you get not only 3 points, which is what you would get if you won a game, but you would actually get 4 points. 4 points, so an extra whole point just for winning with 13 in that one game. So that's what I would do at this point if I was blue, because it feels like you're in such control of the game right now, and no one is really a super big threat. At the same time, you don't want to get too cocky, right? So it's like a balancing act. So like, what are you going to do, right? What do you prioritize here? So gonna have to figure that out as we go through this. I'm just looking to see who buys dev cards here. Ooh, and then a very expensive 4-for-1 for brick, just to get under 7, under 8. Sorry. And I think buying a dev card potentially. Oh, VP in hand. Okay, so actually settling for the win. So taking the 12 VP victory, playing it safe there. I totally see that. And dice stats here, not great distribution, but that's how it goes sometimes. No 12s or 2s. Resource cards drawn, again, low brick, right? We saw that coming. 1 road builder used, and yeah, we see very low trading and stuff. And of course, 101 resources, the highest amount, takes the victory this time. And yeah, this was a great game. I had a lot of fun watching. It was a dominant victory, and it was clean. It was clean all around. It was very well played by all 3 players. I think people placed absolutely correctly, and I'm glad that we got to see this victory happen in a very clean fashion. So with that, that's game 3 in the books, and we're gonna see you guys for game 4, feature game 4, and that'll be a good one too, like all these Catan games are. Catan is the best game, board game that there honestly is. Very well balanced, and I'm excited I get to commentate on these with you guys. So with that, take care, peace, and I'll see you guys for game 4.